So on May 13th, Season 5, Episode 7 of The Boys dropped. And as you know, I ate that shit straight up as soon as I got back home from school. Now the trailer had me hyped up, and I'm pretty sure it had all of you guys hyped up too. So going into this episode, the expectations were sky high. And I'm gonna be the first to say they delivered on those expectations, but I hated it. I flipping cried because of it, but we'll talk about that later. In terms of the predictions I made in the last video, basically none of them came true completely, but parts of the puzzle are starting to reveal themselves. And before I get too into the details, where are my manners? Hi again, I'm Shahir, and let's get straight into it. First up, I want to talk about Kimiko. Now when we all saw that title, we assumed the worst. Like, we thought Homelander got all three of their asses. But her being used to replicate Soulja Boy's blast is actually an insane curveball that I never would have seen coming. Granted, she hasn't actually got it down yet, and by the end of the episode, it's really hard to say whether or not she obtained the power or something else entirely, or worst case scenario, she got nothing from it, and she just underwent crazy amounts of radiation for no reason, which would be a huge bummer. But just because this part of the plot wasn't predictable doesn't make it good writing. I mean, they know Soulja Boy isn't completely on their side, so trying to replicate his ability would be the direction to go in, but it's pretty commonly known that everyone is different, like genetically different. Now it doesn't matter what universe you're a part of, Marvel, Vought, that is a biological fact of all humans. Trying this was like flipping a coin and trying to get it to land on its edge. It's basically impossible, and the more you try, the likelier you are to lose the coin. Basically, what I'm trying to say in a really long-winded way is that they were blasting so much radiation at Kimiko, you would have thought they would have killed her before Homelander could. And I guess it is pretty much their only shot, other than this girl. I mean, who even is she? Apparently she's the same level as Homelander, and she's from Gen V. But as someone who couldn't watch an entire other show just for the final 2 episodes, I sincerely hope she has no role in the last episode, in the nicest way possible. Now sorry for going off on a little bit of a tangent, but circling back to Kimiko, the whole Sage being depressed mini arc and not helping French and Kimiko, I thought was kind of BS writing, because Sage just betrayed Homelander in the last episode. So realistically, she should either be on the run or help solve the next step. And my second point is, if Sage was the actual smartest person on the entirety of Earth, how could she not have a plan B? Like, that just seems like a natural thing for a really smart person to have. It just doesn't make sense. Also, blaming her mistakes on not understanding love between Clara and Soulja Boy, or Stormfront as she's more commonly known, is kind of true, I guess, but also really weird to just, you know, slide in there. It's just another forced Stormfront plot push, but more than that, I feel like this whole love agenda type thing and confusion is really just there so that the final moment of this episode hits even harder than it already does. And I'm gonna save talking about that for the end of the video, because that shit did make me cry. Now let's address the elephant in the room. The Deep is going to die, whether we like it or not. Yeah, I know. Sad time, sad time. But believe it or not, that isn't the reason why I almost cried. Yeah, I know, guys, this is shocking news. But from what we've seen so far, the Deep is in a huge predicament. He can either step into the water and save the child, or he can pussy out and save his life, because the fish are not gonna forgive him for what he did. I mean, he basically turned his back on his own people. The fish were his people, and people aren't his people. Like, we've seen that throughout the entire show. He's basically sort of been rejected by humanity because of his gills and the fact that he can talk to fish. So when he allowed for that pipeline to be built, assuring that nothing would happen, and 1.4 billion fish died, well, who else could they blame? I mean, he's meant to be their savior. He's meant to be the bridge between fish and humanity, and so now it's just him against them. He's no longer allowed in the water, and if he sets 1 foot anywhere near it, he's dead. At least that's what the plot's trying to make us think. I'm really not sure what they're going to do next episode, but from what we've seen so far, it seems like this is the end of the Deep. And on that very dark and sad note, I actually have some really good news for you guys. I'm going to be giving away some Dossier perfumes, which were the sponsor of my video 2 videos ago, so that would be the My Hero Academia one. Now if you guys haven't watched that one, I'll leave a link down below. Now to enter the giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and follow Dossier on Instagram or TikTok. Then comment down below what's your favorite fragrance from the Dossier website. Then I'll pick 2 random winners from the comments down below, and Dossier will send out the perfumes to you guys free of charge and for you to enjoy. Another thing that we learned from this episode is Homelander's real plan, where he uses psychics to see who actually believes in him as their true savior. And well, if you don't, then you just straight up get slimed out. And I can't believe they filmed like a weird little short film of Jesus saying to Homelander that he's the true savior that America needs, and how he just can't do it anymore, like it's a desk job that he's just got tired of or something. That was hilarious to watch. But if anything, that kind of showed us the extent of Homelander's delusion, and the fact that he's willing to do anything to get a nation of people who just believe that he's an actual god. And another really important moment was that scene between him and Soldier Boy, where you could see his desperation for validation from his father, from Soldier Boy, and he literally chokes out Soldier Boy just to put him back into the cryo chamber so he could constantly control and have that father figure in his life. We also get the story behind Mother's Milk and where the name originated from, and it's such a nice little heartwarming short story that kind of lifts the whole mood of the entire episode, only to bring it crashing back down at the end. But we'll get to that later. And I know I was kind of flaming Mother's Milk for not having a good storyline or actual character, but this scene kind of flips the script for me. He goes on to say how the detention center changed him, and he didn't really feel like he was the same person after it. He went from caring about making a difference to just not caring and wanting to survive. But he realized that caring is actually the thing that separates them from the villains, and how him and Starlight should always fight for what they believe is right, even if it isn't always clear who or what they're fighting for. So you know what? Big shout out Mother's Milk. That was an insane backstory, and honestly, this may have made him one of my favorite characters, just this scene alone. But shifting to something a bit darker now, Synapse is the psychic who holds Huey and Butcher captive in a little meeting room, and Synapse has the great idea of transforming into Kessler. Yep, that guy from season 4, you probably remember him. And this is a really good way of getting into Butcher's mind, but also providing us an insight into what actually happened in Panchir Valley. And the secret's darker than we thought it would have been. Kessler was a Huey type character. He was there to bring back Butcher whenever he thought Butcher was going a bit too far. He was Butcher's canary. You know, that nice little metaphor they had back in season 1. But you see, Kessler, he couldn't bring Billy back. Billy was hell-bent on capturing the ISIS clown in Panchir Valley, and it cost the lives of not just Kessler, but every other member of the unit. Billy was the only one to walk out of that valley alive. Now you see, this kind of foreshadows the ending, because like I predicted in my High Again Certified prediction, Huey might be the only one who walks out of this alive, because once Butcher gets into that mode, it's going to be near impossible to stop him from trying to kill every soup. But then again, I can't say whether or not this is for sure. It's just my best guess, and who knows, they might change up the ending a little bit, and we'll see next week. For now though, let's just come to the last and final moment of this episode, which made me cry, and probably made it one of the worst episodes to watch, because as most of you watching this probably know, Frenchie died. The ending is nowhere near as dark for Frenchie as it is in the books, because Kimiko and Frenchie die due to an explosion that Butcher caused in the comics. So at least we didn't get that happen, because if that happened, I would have crashed out. I don't know what I would have done. But Frenchie actually dies due to the uranium exposure in the booth with Homelander, while he's trying to avert Homelander's attention from Kimiko and Sage. He does end by saying the same line though that breaks everyone's heart.
Je t'aime.
Now, the only reason this may be seen as a good thing is because Butcher didn't actually kill Frenchie, and this was a result of Homelander. So Butcher may not be as bad as he was in the comics, and you can actually see he's really deeply affected by the death of Frenchie. Not gonna lie though, Frenchie was one of my favorite characters in The Boys, if not my favorite character, and it was really sad to see him go. I knew it was inevitable, but it hit hard for some reason, and it just didn't feel right. If anything, it just makes the audience more pissed off at Homelander, and we really just want to see him come to an end. It's going to be interesting to see how they wrap things up, but for now, that's me signing off. Thanks for your attention, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.